All right. Welcome back to Game Over Cancer 2025. I am Phil Seven. I will be taking over the microphone and hosting duties for the rest of the marathon. And this next run is Super Mario Odyssey Any Percent by Clevered. Welcome in, and whenever you are ready, you may take it away.
All right, thank you for the introduction. Yeah, I'm just gonna get started. So I got a 10-second countdown here, so I'll let you guys when to start on the stream. So have started the countdown. So we got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. We're going. All right, hello everybody. If you don't know me, I'm Clevered. I speedrun mainly Super Mario Odyssey. And if you guys don't know about this game, its whole premise is that Bowser has kidnapped Peach because he wants to marry Peach in this one. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to save Peach. And what happens is Bowser goes throughout a bunch of these levels called kingdoms, and he steals items for his wedding. For example, in this kingdom, the Cap Kingdom, he has taken this guy we're about to meet in a second, Cappy's sister, Tiara, as of course a tiara for Peach. And so we're gonna team up, and we're gonna go defeat Bowser. And Cappy is a very unique, companion in terms of Super Mario games, because he has the ability to capture certain entities, and we're going to see that in just a moment in basically the capture tutorial of this game right here. And it is these frogs right over here. So we're going to capture this frog, and now we are the frog. And so this is a mechanic that has a bunch of different creatures all throughout the game that'll help us beat it as fast as possible. And so this is really the first trick of the run right here. Normally you're supposed to jump up this like ledge on the right side, but we go do that little trick jump off the left side, and it is of course fittingly named left side. And so that was Topper. That's that guy's name. He is the one of 4 Broodals in this game. The Broodals are basically the wedding planners for Bowser. His specific role is client relations, although wasn't very good with this client, and we soundly defeated him, and now we're taking this wire out to the next kingdom, which is the Cascade Kingdom. And this is where we're going to be introduced to the collectibles of this game. Instead of power stars like in Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Odyssey and Super Mario Sunshine, where there's I actually don't know the name for that. I'm not going to use that as an example. We're collecting power moons in this game, just like that. We're going to have to collect a total of 124 power moons across the entirety of this run. And so this is the very first one, fittingly called our first power moon. And so we get that power moon, it gives the power for this bridge to fall down, and we're going to see how we're going to be getting across all the rest of the kingdoms through this ship called the Odyssey. And the problem is that this Odyssey needs power moons for every single kingdom that we get to. It needs power moons to power up and get to the next kingdom. And alright, so this is one of the first major skips. This is called Dino Skip. We're going to take this dino right here, and under this set of blocks there is a trampoline that we're going to use to get up here to the boss trigger area. Do that really fast. And now we're going to defeat. This is another Brutal in the run. Her name is Madame Brutal. I'm not actually sure her role in the whole lore of Super Mario Odyssey, but she has her chain chompikins, and we're gonna use it to throw it right back at her. And basically crush her skull with it, to be honest, to put it frankly. And then she's gonna poof and disappear into the air and leave us our first multi-moon of the run, where we're gonna get 3 moons all at once. And yeah, we still need 1 more moon to leave the kingdom, so we're gonna get that right after this cutscene ends. There are a lot of cutscenes in this game. It's around 20 to 30 minutes of cutscenes in total in this game. And yeah, so we're gonna go over here, grab this moon, and we're gonna head into the Odyssey, power it up for the first time. And yeah. So, if you guys noticed, I started the countdown on the date and time screen. And the reason for that is going to come up in a second. In the next kingdom, the Sand Kingdom, there is a seed. There are sets of seeds in this game. There's a seed in the town that's really close, and it would be really easy to get, but unfortunately, it takes 20 minutes to grow. And that's not really that optimal for a speedrun. But what people figured out is that if you increase the clock on the switch itself, then the seed will grow because it thinks that 20 minutes have passed. So what we did at the start is we set the date and time to March 9th of this year. Excuse me. We set the date to March 9th of this year, which was daylight savings time for me. I'm in North America. And so basically, what happens is I set it to March 9th at 1:53 a.m. And that's around 7 minutes before we get here. And look at that, we're around 7 minutes. So what happens is when we enter this room right here, what's gonna happen is we're in this room and the game thinks, and the time's gonna jump ahead an hour. It's gonna go from 1:59 to 3 a.m. because that's how daylight savings works. And the game thinks that, oh, well, it's time for the seed to grow because it's been an hour. It's been past 20 minutes, so the seed grows. I think that's really one of the most, like, someone had to think that out, which I think is really cool. And I think is really interesting. So that's how that led to this whole reroute of the kingdom. And it lets us exit a whole lot quicker. So yeah, that's why we set our date and time. No real impact to the rest of the run. But it was just for that little trick there. You can also, if you do miss that slot where you're in the room, you can also just manually set the time ahead. And that also works. Alright, now I'm gonna attempt a trick. It's called a Dram Strat, named after the person who founded Dram 55. And basically, oh, I didn't get it, unfortunately. Basically, the whole premise is that you leave Cappy up there to capture the bullet bill while you're down getting the moon, so you just go up instantly. But unfortunately, didn't get it. But it's okay, it doesn't lose that much time. Alright, now we're gonna capture this bullet bill, another one of the captures. And we're gonna go over here and get this moon. And then we're gonna do another little trick. We're gonna go up on this structure over here. Normally, you do a different skip to get up here early. That's called Jaxie skip. But jumping up the back there is called reverse Jaxie skip, fittingly. Because you're doing this whole section in reverse. Normally, you get these moons first. But reverse Jaxie, the point where it saves time is here. Because you don't actually need to capture the bullet bill, and it just instantly goes and hits that block. Now, some of these catchers have had a bunch of cool uses. You know, Frog, you can jump high. Bill, you can fly to places. Here's the Cactus Catcher. That's its only purpose. It's just to move over so you can grab this moon. Not very eventful, but still pretty interesting and cool how they thought of these ideas. And so we're finishing out the kingdom here. And we're going to head on to the next kingdom, which is going to be the Lake Kingdom. And so, going to be our first water level of 2. There are a total of 2 water levels in this game. And honestly, other than that missed Dram strat, this is a pretty good run so far. Not bad at all. And you can see that the story is completely optional. In most cases, the ship just left to the other kingdom. So that's why this game is one of the really good games for speedrunning, because it has a lot of like routing and movement options for a whole bunch of different levels. Alright, coming up into Lake Kingdom, I'm going to be trying to do a trick. I'm not sure the technical of this trick, but I'm going to try to explain it the best I can. Essentially, in this game, in some cases, walls are just suggestions. So, one of the ways is a corner clip, and so we're going to see that in just a moment. Gonna grab this moon over here. Then we're gonna head on over to this corner. And you can see Cappy went through the wall, and so have we. And then we get that checkpoint to the painting island. We're gonna come down here to this chest. Overall, this route saves around 5 to 7 seconds based on how fast you get it, and that was a really fast clip, so I'm glad I got that. But basically, this allows us to get 2 moons really fast, really easy, and it allows us to skip the boss. Boss fights in this game are, generally, even though they give multi-moons, generally they're pretty slow compared to other options. So a lot of the advanced routes of kingdoms, not all of them, which I'll be doing, they skip the story entirely. And this is one of those examples. So yeah, we're gonna come in here and grab our last moon in the kingdom in a secret little room, which is just right in here. Alright, Lake Kingdom, pretty fast kingdom. And luckily we got the trick really, really fast, so this honestly is a pretty good run for this game so far, but we're entering into one of my lesser consistent kingdoms, the Woody Kingdom. In Woody Kingdom, you're gonna see again, walls are just a suggestion, and hopefully, if I do it right, we can see that. Yeah, so heading into the Wooded Kingdom, in terms of the lore of Wooded Kingdom, it's got a bunch of these robots that make flowers, and Bowser's interested in stealing the Soiree Bouquet, the most fabulous bouquet in all of the land, which is in this kingdom. But we don't care. We're just trying to beat Bowser, so we don't really care about saving that bouquet. We're just kind of gonna go through the game as fast as we can. Alright, this is one of the 2 shop moons I'm gonna get during this run. You can just buy a moon with 100 coins in almost all of the kingdoms. This one is, we do this one just because it's really easy and it's right there. Alright, this is one of the other captures, the uproot, and it can stretch its legs and go up these high platforms to grab this moon. And we'll see this guy later as well. So hopefully I get this trick. Alright, good. So that was Nut Clip, where we use the moon from the nut. Basically, if you backflip and capture against a wall, Mario goes out of the wall for a little bit, and then the game ejects him back in. But if you grab a moon during that time, then he'll just go through the wall. And that's what we did there, to go up and grab that out of bounds moon, and grab the moon at the top of that ramp. Here's another use of the uproot. It can move up these platforms. And so yeah, this is the piranha we'd normally kill for the story, but we're not really interested. So we're just gonna go around here, grab this moon that's in the back of this dead end here. And then we're gonna try another trick called Flower Road Skip. That's because if you beat the piranha, a Flower Road spawns. But we're gonna skip that. And then we're gonna come up here, there's a lot of nut moons in Wooded Kingdom. I think there's a total of 11, maybe, actually, I think there's 13. There's a lot of nuts. Alright, and then we're gonna climb up this tower with the uproot and get, you guessed it, yet another nut moon in this tower. And then we're gonna grab this moon, which is fittingly called stretching your legs. That's how you get it. And normally this is where you'd fight the boss, but since we didn't get the piranha moon, the boss fight doesn't trigger. So we're gonna go down here, and we're gonna go around this corner. And guess what, guys? We're gonna grab another nut moon. This is the last one, I promise. Oop, that was a close one. And then we're gonna head into this sub-area, and then we're gonna finish out the kingdom in this flooded pipeway. This pipeway is cycle-based, so I actually have to slow down a little bit to get the right cycle. Oop, almost went too fast there, but luckily I did hold back just enough. And we are out of Wooded Kingdom. That was actually a really, really good Wooded Kingdom. Alright, now, what's gonna try and happen is that Cavi's like, oh look, it's the Metro Kingdom. It's the one that was in the trailer for this game, with the people and all the shops, and it looks really cool. It's just all the way across this ocean. But the problem is, we're gonna see Bowser along the way. And we're like, oh, we gotta stop this guy. So what we do is land, we're gonna fight Bowser. But you can see, of course, there's just a little bit more of this run left, so obviously this is not the final fight. We're gonna do a little thing called fast stats, where you just go up to him and grab his hat that he throws at us and tries to punch us with. But if you throw Cappy when you're like right up next to him, he just gives you the hat. So we're gonna use that on all 3 of his phases. We're going to take an intentional damage here, so that the other hats don't hit us while he's throwing those. We're going to try to do this sneak attack with his tail, but we know that he's going to shake it. So luckily, we soundly defeat him, but the problem is, he doesn't quite like that, and he's going to shoot a bunch of bullets at us. And we're unfortunately, the Odyssey falls down to this Lost Kingdom here. Now, the gimmick with Lost Kingdom is that there's Klepto from Super Mario 64, but his trigger zone doesn't actually reach the top of the kingdom. So we're going to go off this meme tree, as it's called, do this trick jump, and bam! No Klepto in sight. Our hat is not going to get taken, and we're just going to cruise right along. A little bit of a sketchy jump to get that butterfly, or else he'll fly away and we'll have to wait. Alright, Klepto is here, but if we do go down to the trigger zone, which we're going to do, he will still trigger, so we have to trigger him like this instead. So that now we can go to this area, and he won't take Cappy. So we're going to go here and unload. Oh, that didn't work. Very strange. Normally the blocks would unload, so you can just grab that one instantly. But that's okay. Easy backup to get that. And we're going to grab this moon in this little cage here, and then we're going to grab this last moon that's under the bridge. And we're going to try and survive. Nice. Alright. Overall, pretty good Lost Kingdom. A little bit of slow movements, but it's okay. This is still a very good run. Alright, now that we've powered up the Odyssey, successfully, tried to fight Bowser, now we can actually go to the Metro Kingdom. But the problem is, it's gonna be nighttime when we come because, this Wiggler is sucking all the energy out of the city, as you can see there. Up there. So we have to go defeat that Wiggler so that we can restore all the energy to the city so we can make it daytime again. Now instead of going all the way around, we're actually just gonna hop on top of this awning and do a nice jump up here to skip going around the entire city to get there, and also to get this moon over here. Nice and clean. And do that Goomba heck there, so that I can get the perfect heights to dive. A little bit of a sketchy roll there, that just barely makes it across. And now we are in City Hall, and City Hall looks like trash. But we're just gonna do some fast strats, get the good cycle, climb up these poles. And we're gonna get this Lost and Found moon. That's at the tippy top. And then we're just going to do that long jump to make it over that gap. And then now, we still have to go a little bit higher. This is a really tall building. Now, we get to fight this silly Wiggler with this tank. That is also in this game that we can capture and use to our advantage. And then I'm positioning myself in specific areas so that we can get the shortest in-between pattern of the Wiggler running around. And that it would go to this wall where it would just immediately go to the next phase, so we can defeat it. Gotta shoot all those. Alright. And we did, in fact, 2-cycle it. If you do not hit all of those there, then the Mecha Wiggler will go into another in-between phase, and that's called 3-cycling. Not good. Loses around 40 seconds. So thankfully, we did not 3-cycle there. And then now that we have murdered that Wiggler, the sun can finally come out. So yeah, it's gonna be Day Metro. We're gonna see all the people come out. And it's gonna be great. This is a very technical kingdom. A lot of little tricks that save a little bit of time. I failed that Dram strat in Sand Kingdom, but there's a very easy one right here where you just throw Cappy towards that wire, grab that moon, and then Cappy homes into the wire, and so we can just instantly teleport out. Alright, this clip, so apparently this cage has a hitbox where if we're leaning on the scooter, we can actually turn the scooter into the cage and grab that moon without capturing the guy. And this is another one of those Dram strats. Basically any trick where you like capture something or where you do something and then you capture something somewhere else is called a Dram strat in this game. Except for one of them, which I will show you in the next kingdom, that is one of the most well-known tricks in this game. But we will get there soon enough. Alright, now we're going to talk to Pauline, who is the mayor of New Donk City. And she wants to put on a festival. And so we're going to help her with that. We're going to grab 2 musicians to help her with that. But we're unfortunately not going to stay for the festival because it's too slow. We're in a speed run here, folks. Can't be stopping to jam out in a festival. There are speedruns in this game that you do stop to jam out for the festival. Unfortunately, this is not one of them. But there is a great song that's just like the festival music right at the end of the run. So if you want some good music, make sure to stick around for that. But yeah, this is the second musician. We're not actually going to get any other musicians because they're not in very convenient places for us. Instead, we're going to warp up to the top of the skyscraper. And we're going to grab a bunch of moons that spawned up here after we killed that Wiggler. Gonna make that jump to get this moon, which is how did we take out the trash? Which is really weird, because it is really just a trash can at the top of that pole. Alright, and then we're gonna go all the way up to the tippy top, as there is a moon at the tippy top of the skyscraper. Called Dizzying Heights, which is very fitting. Alright, and then there are these little Luigi hint hearts in this game that give you coins. It's going to be very key, because we are going to get one more moon from a shop in this run, and we would normally not have enough coins. So that's really convenient for us. And so we're going to go in this crowd room, really funny, because there's a crowd and you got to push through it. It's a timer challenge, and it's really cute. And then we're going to go up above the crowd to grab this moon, and then boom! We're done with Metro. Just like that. And we are off to the next kingdom. So the next kingdom is Snow Kingdom, and this is where the most infamous trick in this game is. It is called the Dram, but it has nothing to do with the person who found the original Dram strat initially. People just started naming things after him because they thought it was funny. And honestly, it's pretty funny. So it's called Snow Dram, and it is a relatively tight trick jump to save around 7 seconds, and we're going to be doing it at the end of the kingdom. But first, we're going to make our way over here and say hi to one of my favorite characters in the run. That's right, it's Captain Toad. And if you find him in a bunch of kingdoms, he gives you a Power Moon. So we're just going to take that to our advantage and grab a Power Moon from Captain Toad. Thanks, Toad. And then we're going to head on in to the Shiveria town. That's going to have essentially all the other moons. So we're going to start over here. Gonna grab this moon. And then we're gonna do this little trick jump, not too crazy. Gonna wall jump over here. And then grab this chest moon over here. And then we're gonna grab this moon. There is a clip there as well to the one I did in Woody Kingdom, but it is much different. And the setup is not as consistent for me. And then we're gonna go into these little story rooms, because we're supposed to unlock a story so we can get to the race room where we're supposed to do a race, but it's too slow. We're in a speed run. We don't have time to do a whole race. Unfortunately, I missed a Spiny there. But if you kill all of them, you get this story moon. So yeah, we're going to be doing 2 of these rooms. And yeah, Snow Kingdom, it's a very chill kingdom, to say the least. Very much pun intended. Yeah, now we're going to go in this room, where if you capture a couple Goombas and put them on that button right over there, it unlocks this. And it just gives you a moon. So we're gonna grab this, and then we're gonna move our way over onto the story moon. Normally you're supposed to go up top and then make that little big icicle drop down, but you can just jump on over to the moon. No need to go up and drop the icicle. Alright, so now this is the other shop moon that I was talking about earlier. And then right after this, at the end of the kingdom, is gonna be the trick jump Snow Dram. It's another one to the painting island, like the one we saw in Lake Kingdom, but it's a very different way to get there, and you'll see in just a moment. Hopefully I don't miss it. Go on top of the Odyssey. Aw, unfortunate. Unfortunately missed it, but that's okay. We can warp back to the Odyssey and try again. Alright, second try. Not too bad. Only losing a little bit of time. A-okay. This is, honestly, still much better, than the estimate time, so we're still good, still chugging along, and we're out to the next kingdom. Which is the second, water kingdom, seaside kingdom, rather than lake kingdom. This one there's not a whole lot to do. There is this one clip at the end that I'll talk about when we get there. Yeah, not too much to say about it, though. There is that big mollusk, Brigadier Mollusk, Lancer the Third Dolphin of the Blaine is his full name. But we don't really care about him, because we don't need to fight the story. We're just trying to go fast. And he does not require that, so we're just gonna go around the kingdom, grab a couple moons. A little bit of a close one there. And then we're gonna go ahead, capture this fish. We'll be in the fish for basically the rest of the kingdom. Just grabbing a bunch of moons along the way. Gonna grab this treasure chest. Whoops. As you can see, there are fish blocks in this game, where the fish just kind of stops moving for a little bit. Not as big of a time loss as you think. So, it's all good. We're gonna grab this ground pound moon over here. And then there's one that's under Dory. It's just kind of there. And then if you shake all those three sections, then a moon spawns there. And now here's the clip. So essentially, in some levels, there's not a barrier, but rather there's a force field. And so what happened there is that we left the fish outside of that force field, but we weren't in the fish. So it didn't, the game didn't bring us back into the force field, or into the regular level. And so if we capture that fish again, and we swim forward, it would be outside that force field, and so the game tries to push it back, and then the fish ends up going out of bounds. So we can do that to grab 2 quick moons and head out of Seaside. Alright, the next kingdom, Luncheon, it's a very technical kingdom. There's a lot, like Metro, there's a lot of like little tricks that save time. So we'll see if I can get in there. Starting out right off the bat, there's this triple jump off of the salt, which is named Salt Triple, so you can get the first moon really fast. And And yeah, there's a lot of points that I could mess up in Luncheon Kingdom, so hopefully that doesn't happen. Because when Luncheon is done right, it really does look nice. Oh, unfortunately did not get it. But it's fine, we'll go for the backup. Got the backup pretty easily. Gonna roll off that ledge there. Grab, oops. Grab this moon, and then we're gonna go into the Spirit boss fight. And the Spirit boss fight, there is a route for Luncheon Kingdom where you do not do this boss fight, but it's really difficult and not at my level of the run. So we're not going to do it, we're just going to fight Spirit. Oops, it only saves a little bit of time, and it's definitely not worth all the trouble. So yeah, we're going to defeat Spirit, we're going to do the story in this kingdom. This is one of the few kingdoms where we're actually going to do the story a little bit. So. But yeah, we took a little bit of damage in the boss fight, but it's just going to revive us and lose a couple seconds. No big deal. We keep moving down to this sub-area down here, which just has this moon right behind the entrance. So we're just going to grab it. Fortunately did bonk there, but it's a-okay. Oh, that's really weird. This is one of the big points where I could have choked. Luckily did not die. But yeah, that section is really weird with its geometry, so I'm glad I did not fall. And die. Gonna grab this box here, which has a moon in it. And then we're gonna go down and put some turnips into this big pot of soup that you might have saw a little bit ago. And the golden turnips, well, they just so happen to give us a moon. And it's really weird, because the whole premise of this kingdom is that Bowser's trying to steal the stupendous stew. But he can't just steal that pot of soup, because that's a pretty big pot of soup, if I do say so myself. Like, that should be enough for everyone who's attending this wedding of yours. But no, I guess he needs the whole thing of soup at the top of a mountain instead. So that's cool. Alright, we're in this forks room. Another cool little capture, where you just capture a bunch of forks and get up to the top. So yeah, so that's one of the more fun sub-areas in this game. Unfortunately, we did it so fast that it's over already. Excuse me, sorry. Alright, gonna climb up here, grab this moon. Sorry, having a lot of congestion issues lately, so sorry if I'm coughing a lot. Gonna capture this pan bro, not a hammer bro, pan bro. And we're gonna break all this cheese. And we're gonna get that lever to open up this cage to grab another moon. That's part of the story. Alright, and we just have a couple moons left to go. Gonna grab this moon where you just put a lava bubble into that into that flame pot, I suppose. And it gives us a moon. Then we're gonna vault off Cappy. And triple jump up this mountain. Grab this moon that's behind it. And then we're gonna go to the last moons that we're gonna get in the run. Or, not the run, sorry. In Luncheon Kingdom. And we're gonna capture this meat. This slab of meat. And then this bird's gonna be like, hey, I gotta put this slab of meat into my soup. And there just happens to be a multi-moon inside this soup for us. So super fast, super easy. Bunch of moons right there. And then we'll be out of luncheon. There is more story where you do defeat this bird, but we don't got time for that. We gotta go defeat Bowser. And just like that, we're out of luncheon. Multi-moon is the secret ingredient. True! That's what makes the soup so rich and energy full. Alright, coming up next, we are supposed to be going onto the Bowser's Kingdom. But unfortunately Bowser does have other plans for us. With surprisingly... Actually, I'm gonna leave it as a surprise. It's a really interesting boss fight for a Mario game. And the aesthetic of this kingdom is really strange for a Mario game. Like, there's pretty much no other place like this in Mario. And so basically what Bowser did is he hired a friggin' dragon to come and defeat us. But we're not gonna let it stop us. We're gonna say hi to one of the other hint arts that has Toad. And yeah, it's just an auto-scroller of a fight. Not too much to say. So normally, during races and stuff, this time is taken, you know, to thank all the people involved. So, I would first of all like to thank the SMO community. Great community. I see a bunch of you guys in chat right now. I appreciate you all being here and watching this run. I appreciate to all the viewers who are watching this run right now. Thank you guys. Thank you to Game Over Cancer for allowing me to do this and allowing me to help participate in your guys' event. This has been a pleasure of mine. And yeah, all the people backstage, you guys are really cool, really helpful, and I'm really glad that I've been a part of this, so thank you. Alright, that's it for me. We're on the last phase of this auto-scroller. And we have successfully beaten the dragon. Well, not technically, it's still alive. It's just really, it's got a really big headache. And it's just gotta lie down for a little bit. But we're gonna gladly take its multi-moon and be on our merry way to where we were actually supposed to go. Which is the Bowser's Kingdom. Bowser's Kingdom, there is a lot going on. The story for Bowser's Kingdom is required in all types of speedruns for this game. So we will be doing the entire story for it. And yeah. So our first objective in the Bowser's Kingdom is to take care of a ogre guard that's guarding the first entrance to the kingdom. We're gonna do that nice and quick. You can see these little birds. They're the Pokios. We're not gonna need them right now. We will see them later. Just gonna jump across this gap really quick. And pretty easily take care of that ogre with his weak spot on the top there. And that's our first task of the kingdom. The second task of the kingdom coming up. We're gonna grab moon shards, which are a part of a power moon, in order to open the next door to get further into the kingdom. Yeah, and shards is really technical, so let me just take a moment. Oh. Supposed to go that way. That little trick is called dive back there. And then you grab this shard down here. And you capture this Pokio, and then break this block, which has another shard in it. And that's shards. Pretty easy, pretty quick. Alright, and this unlocks our next task in Bowser's Kingdom, which is taking on Topper and Topper's sister, Harriet, in a little bit of a mini boss rush. But first, I'm going to attempt another Dram strat. To grab that moon, I think that works. That angle was pretty good. Yep, that does work nice. Just gonna zoom past this shop here. Don't need it for anything. And we're gonna head into these fights. Where you can choose either one first. It's a whole debate in the community which one is better to go for first. But the true fact is that the game wanted you to do Harry first. So let that be known to all. Harriet first is the correct way. And yeah. Harriet's the sort of like fireworks expert, but she's just kind of throwing bombs at me. So we're just gonna take care of her pretty easy. And then we're actually gonna see a harder version of Topper where he has a bunch more hats than he had in Cap Kingdom at the beginning of the run. As you can see already, a bunch more hats. But that's no problem, because if you bump him like that before he leaves, you can just skip that intermediary phase, and then boom, Topper's down. And so our next task is to go all the way up to the tippy top of the kingdom, and we're gonna meet Bowser there. We are gonna meet him there. But there's a little surprise that he has in for us once we get there, so you guys will see that in just a moment. Gonna jump around this corner to grab this moon in here. This is gonna be our last moon that we're gonna need, except for the boss fight. Gonna do a little bit of a blind jump there, kind of backwards, a little sketchy, but we made it nonetheless. And then we're gonna use this Pokio to climb up this really, really big wall that it is possible, with going out of bounds, to not use the Pokyo, but it's really slow, and, you know, we care about speed, so. Now we're going up here. There's Bowser, there's Peach, but Bowser has one more surprise for us. He's actually having his wedding on the moon, so he left the Broodals all here in this mecha brood to take care of us, but we're gonna actually take care of it. Normally you're supposed to use the bird in this fight, but as you can saw, I just climbed up the leg and skipped the need for the bird, and we're just staying on top of the thing. And then we're gonna do this cute little strat where we just... Oops. I messed it up a little bit, but thankfully it wasn't too bad. Then we're gonna go up here, and this is the last bubble on top of the mech, and boom! It's destroyed. Easy peasy, just as that. No bird needed. Use the fast strats. Excuse me, sorry. And yeah, these are going to be the last 3 moons. And the last are the Broodals that we're going to see in this run. They're not dead, though. We're just not going to see them in this run again. And these are going to be the last 3 moons we're going to collect in the entire run for a total of 124 moons. There are a total of 880 moons in this game. It takes around like 8 to 10 hours to collect them all, but that's not our goal here. Our goal is just to complete the game as fast as we can, and we're 1 kingdom away from doing so. And the last kingdom is going to be the Moon Kingdom. And so yeah, now we're going to power up the Odyssey for the final time. Sail is going to turn a nice golden color. And we're going to be off to the moon. Alright, this is the last kingdom in the run. And it is also where the biggest skip of the entire game is. Normally, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go in a big cavern, and you're gonna actually find Madame Rude from Cascade Kingdom there. At the end of this long cavern, takes around 2.5 minutes at a reasonable level. But, you know, I don't really want to spend all that time. So I think, honestly, we should just skip the whole thing, grab these rocket flowers. That's the entrance to the Moon Cavern, where we're just going to go around the back of the kingdom to where we're going to find the Sphinx. He's in a lot of different points. And what we're going to do is we're going to go wall jump on this spot, we'll jump on this spot, and then look, that's the exit to the Moon Cave. Just like that, we just saved an entire 2 minutes and 30 seconds with that very simple jump. Yeah, not quite sure why the geometry allows you to jump there, but it does, and we take advantage of it. And then now, finally here to crash the wedding. Doing the fast hat strats again. Bowser, not that different from when we saw him in the Cloud Kingdom. He does do the swipes with his tail on every phase, and he also has this intermediary phase with the fire, but honestly, not that big of a threat. You just gotta jump over it, and it's all good. So yeah, gonna do the same fast strats that we did in Cloud Kingdom. jump over his fire. Avoid this a little bit longer of an intermediary phase. But we can just do that, and then we're all good. And this is the last phase. We're going to do another intentional damage. And we're going to finish off Bowser. And then we're going to go save Peach. Oh no! The moon is falling apart. What a shame. Oh no, what are we gonna do? This is such a travesty. Oh look, we're gonna capture Bowser. Now we are Bowser, and this is where we're gonna finish off the run and escape from the moon to save us, Peach, and actually Bowser. Nice little skip there too. Skip going around, just go up, and then this unlocks a 2D section. This is technically possible to skip, but I'm not interested because it's really difficult for not a lot of time saves, so we're just going to do this mini skip instead to avoid going around, and this other mini skip that saves a little bit less time, but looks a little bit cool, and then we're almost done. Almost escaped. And this is the final room of the run, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. It's Pillars Room, where we gotta knock down these 4 pillars to unlock the cube there. So we're gonna try to hit this pillar early. I think that works. Oh, almost. I'd say okay. Gonna hit that pillar. And this is the music I was talking about. Very much of a jam. This is the final pillar. Almost there. And now this is broken. We're breaking it. We're almost there. Bowser, please, swipe. Oh, come on! And we're gonna head in this wire, and we're gonna stop time. And now, 102.15. That is actually the second fastest time that I've beaten this game in, so that was a really solid run. So yeah, that's really it for me. Again, thank you to everyone who's involved in this event. Thank you, all the people for watching. Thanks for all the GGs, everyone. And I'm gonna send it back over to the GOC people. Again, thank you for having me.
Yeah, GG. I've never seen Super Mario Odyssey, but that was really good.
Yeah, it's a very fun run, so thank you.
Alright. And yeah, as Clever said, we did get a donation from $1 from Gene Dig that says, "Hope this money helps a little." Great narrating, by the way.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thanks for the donation.
And every little bit helps.
It does.
We're already on our second highest total we've raised at Game Over Cancer so far, so if we can keep going in these last 3 runs, that would be amazing.
Maybe we hit 4,000 tonight.
Hopefully. So yeah, stay tuned. We will be back with more Game Over Cancer after the intermission.